Alright, what's up everybody? This is my English 4 animal tier list video. Um, Before we get into the video, I just want to say that this isn't based on any like stats or like anything like that, statistics. It's just based on my opinion. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. Um, our first animal is a alligator. Um, Alligators are pretty cool. I'm gonna put an alligator at a solid C tier. They're good. I can't tell if they're C tier or D tier. Mm, I'm gonna put them at a solid C tier. They're pretty cool. They eat a lot of stuff. They're kind of scary, so that's why I'm not gonna put them any higher. But yeah. So next animal, it's kind of hard to see, but it's an anteater. Anteaters are insane. These are a solid A tier animal. I'm not gonna put them at S tier because they're a little weird, but anteaters are a solid A tier. They got the long tongue. They actually stick their tongues into ant hills, and the ants crawl onto their tongue and get stuck because of their saliva, and then it brings them back in. So yeah, the animal anteaters are pretty cool, so that's why I'm putting them at A tier. Beavers, mm, beavers. Beavers are gonna have to be a C tier also. I'm not gonna put them higher because they're just like a rodent that makes death traps. Before we go any further, let me explain why I put beavers at C tier. Beavers are at C tier because once I was walking hunting, duck hunting once, and I was walking over this like kind of icy spot where the beaver had been sliding in and out of the water, and there was a bunch of just like gnawed down like skinny trees, and they were like a Vietnamese like spike trap. Like if I slipped and fell, I was going to be impaled. And so beavers are I could have died because of a beaver almost. So that's why they're C tier. Hyenas are pretty cool. They laugh and they're like a big dog that's really silly. And like that's why I'm going to put them at B tier. I'm actually gonna adjust my tier for beavers. I really don't like beavers now that I think about it. So I'm gonna put them at a D tier. Although they do have pretty cool tails, but yeah, I'll keep them at C tier. All right, for our next animal, we have a prairie dog. Prairie dogs are so cute. They're like how can I describe it? They're like a chubby squirrel that doesn't have a weird rat tail. They're just so cute. And they make holes and stuff. But they do have the bubonic plague in some places, so you can't like touch them or anything. And I know they're really, I know this is cruel to say, but they're fun to hunt. So for that reason, I'm gonna put them at A tier. Next animal, we have a buffalo. Now, or a bison, buffalo or bison. It's pretty much the same thing. Well, don't correct me. I'm not a scientist. So they're really cool. And I went to Yellowstone and saw these in person. They're enormous. And I also really like them because like dumb tourists in Yellowstone will try to get really close to them or like even touch them, and they like buck them or like hit trucks and cars and stuff. So it's pretty cool. So for that, I'm gonna definitely put these guys at a B tier. I'm not gonna put them any higher because you can't really interact with them. Like not saying you can interact with any of these other animals, but I think they're a solid B tier animal. Black bear. Black bears have adapted, okay? Hear me out. Our next animal is a black bear, okay? Black bears, they're cool. A bear, first of all, bear walled, you know. So these guys are solid S tier. They eat trash. They eat literal garbage, and they can get really big, and they're cool. For that reason, I'm gonna put them at a S tier because they can eat trash and they've adapted to kind of coexist with humans, I'll say. Now, this ladybug, it looks like a ladybug, but I just did bugs in general, and I used the ladybug as the front thing. There are some cool bugs that look pretty, like butterflies and stuff, and ladybugs, but then there's also mosquitoes, flies, other stuff like that. And in general, bugs kind of gross me out. So that being said, we're going to have to put them at an F tier. Bugs are kind of gross, and it'd be okay if they didn't exist, even though they are an important part of our ecological system. For our next animal, we have a bull. Now, bulls are pretty cool because they also buck people and do that stuff, and they're an important part of culture in Spain because in Spain they actually do bullfighting still, and I'm pretty sure they kill the bulls at the end of them, which is kind of sad, but you know, it is what it is. We kill bulls every day in America probably for Angus and stuff. So for that, I'm gonna put bulls at, I'm gonna say B tier. Camels. Okay, camels are S tier. Now you're probably wondering, why are camels S tier? Camels are S tier because they're cool. Let me explain. Camels have this big hump on their back that they fill with water so that they can, they don't have to drink for like weeks or months, I think. It's a really long time. They can survive in the cold and the warm, because in the desert it gets freezing cold, and it also gets really hot, and they can sustain like both times. They also have these eyelids so that when it sandstorms, they can still kind of see, but it protects their eyeballs. So it's like a 2-layer eyelid, which I think crocodiles and alligators also have. So yeah, that's why they're S tier. They're cool. You can ride them also. I forgot about that. You can ride camels. I kind of want to get a camel. That might be the move. When I'm rich and famous, I'm going to get a camel. Alright. For our next animal, we have a cat. Cats, I'm going to put cat at C tier. Cats they're just mid, okay? They're pets, yeah, people love them, they're cute, but once they get older, like after kitten phase or young cat phase, they're just like, leave me alone. They can exist without you. Yes, they're cute, but they also are nowhere near dogs. Next on our list, we have the chicken. What can I say about the chicken? Except it's the perfect specimen. Almost perfect. Perfect specimen. The chicken provides us with eggs, which I'm allergic to, fun fact, so I can't eat. But people say they're delicious. They have a lot of protein, so if you're trying to get swole, they're good. Also, their meat that the chickens leave behind after you kill them is delicious. It's delectable. God intended for the chicken to produce for the human. Kinda. But chickens are just cool, okay? They taste amazing. You can own them, and they'll produce eggs for you. They're an okay pet. I'm gonna say, pet-wise, they're about the same as a cat. You can fight me about that. The next animal on our list, we have a chimpanzee. Chimpanzees freak me out, okay? For that, I'm gonna put them in D tier. They're cool. Actually, I'm gonna put them in C tier because people do own them as a pet, and then they can like dress them up and like treat them like a little kid. But after like young monkey phase, like once they're like kind of like just to that full grown stage, you gotta get rid of them because otherwise they like rip people's faces off. They'll bite your toes and feet off. They'll rip your private parts off. They're insane. For that, I'm gonna put them at C tier. Next on our list, we got cheetahs, fastest land mammal. Just for that, put them at B tier. Um, all right. Also, they look really cool and they make cute noises, so B tier. They're even better pets than regular cats. Okay. Next on our list, we have crabs. Now, crabs can be very bad. Okay, crabs, if depending on the type of crabs, a they can be bad. But crabs are pretty cool. They taste okay, and they got the little pinchers. And they're like pinch people, and that's pretty funny. So I'm gonna put them at a solid B tier also. And that's all we can really say about crabs. I don't know really much about them, but I know they're pretty cool. Crocodiles. I'm gonna have to put crocodiles one above on the same level, maybe a little lower. I'm gonna have to put crocodiles at the same level as alligators, just because they're basically the same thing, except I'm pretty sure this one goes in salt water. That's saltwater crocodiles. They're basically the same thing. They just look different. Okay, fight me about it, or don't. Next, we have crows. Crows are smart, but they're obnoxious. But they're kind of fun to hunt. They're really challenging to hunt. Okay, you gotta call them in, and then if you don't shoot the first crow that you see, he'll report it back to his buddies, and then your whole day is ruined. So, crows, but if you shoot the first crow, then you'll have a good day. But they're just really smart. For that, I'm gonna put them in B tier. They're smart. They're birds. There's not much else to say. Next, we have kangaroos. This photo kind of got cut off, but kangaroos, uh, kangaroos are awesome. I think they're A tier. They're like Australian deer, except cuter, and they look cooler. Yeah, I don't know. What else is there to say? Now we have deer. Deer are a solid D tier. I'm gonna have to give deer the first D tier on this list. Now you're already thinking, Chris, why would you put them in D tier? They taste good. They're so much fun to hunt. And you'd be right. I'ma juke you out. I'ma go B tier. Deer, their taste pretty okay. Some good old beef or venison jerky, delectable. They're fun to hunt. Quite challenging to hunt, but they're fun. You know. But they run into cars. They're kind of stupid. I'm not gonna lie. They're kind of stupid. They see a headlight, boom, they freeze. Or if they run away, they'll run into your car instead of away from the cars. So for that reason, they're going in B tier. Next, we have pheasant. Pheasant is probably one of my favorite animals to hunt on this list. They're such beautiful birds. They taste about the same. If you could have a cross between duck and chicken, that is a pheasant. They're beautiful animals. They're amazing to hunt. And we call them ditch chickens where I'm from. The people I hunt with call them ditch chickens because they live in ditches. That's where you find them a lot, on the side of the road in the ditch. And they taste like chicken. We're going to put them in A tier. Next, we have dogs. I picked a pug for this one for no reason. In general, just a great dog. So yeah, dogs. Dogs are amazing. We're going to have to put dogs in S tier. They're people's best friends. They're cute. They love you for until they die. They will stand by your side until you die. And that's why I love dogs. Dogs definitely S tier animal. Next on our list we have the donkey. Donkeys are definitely S tier because of their name. Their name donkeys are cool. I don't know. When I went to California, we saw wild donkeys, which is pretty amazing. Um, they're really friendly. They let you get kind of close, but it's still a wild animal. So, but they're just really great creatures. They helped humanity a lot because, well, mules and donkeys, kind of different things, but not really. But yeah, I'm gonna say donkeys are S tier because they're funny. Donkeys are funny. It's just a donkey. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just a donkey. Next on our list, ducks. Um, they're fun to hunt, but I do have a love-hate relationship with ducks. I love hunting them. They're my favorite thing to hunt. Um, they taste okay if you cook them right. They taste really good, but I'm not a good cook, so um, they're really hard to hunt though. And I've had a lot of how do I say I've had a love-hate relationship with them, but mostly love. So we're gonna put them in B tier. Elephants are awesome. Okay, elephants are probably A tier. Elephants are A tier because they look cool. They're humongous. You know, biggest land animal. They have humongous trunks, which they can like grab stuff with. They do a lot of funny things too. They like put water in their trunk and they shoot it out at people, or they shoot it out on themselves to cool them down. Their ears also can cool them down and like hear really far. They're pretty smart actually, and they have cool tusks for fighting. But it's kind of sad. Poachers are really killing them for their tusks, and I think that is pretty terrible. So anyway, next on our list, we're gonna have to go with elk. Elk is a C tier. They're cool to hunt, but I've never got to hunt them because I don't live in an area where elk is accessible. But one day I would like to hunt elk, like in the mountains or something. C tier, because I've never actually hunted them, but they're pretty much like deer, so I imagine it's kind of similar. Next on our list, we have fish. Fish, I picked a clownfish because I couldn't just do every single fish. We're just gonna do fish in general. Fish in general get a solid B tier from me. I really like fishing. I wish I could do it more, but fish. Some people like the taste. It honestly depends how you cook them. Um, I'm gonna go fish B tier because fishing is fun if you're catching fish. Otherwise, it's terrible, and they taste pretty good if you cook them right. Next on our list, we have foxes. Honestly, foxes are overrated. Okay, most people are like, Chris, foxes are cool. People have domesticated them, and they're like little cat kind of. They're like halfway between a cat and a dog. It's like the perfect in between. Okay, wild foxes suck. Okay, they suck. They're basically coyotes that dig holes and ruin fields. Okay, I'm looking at this from like a farmer's perspective. Okay, farmers hate foxes because they kill their livestock, chickens, and they'll try to kill. Um, they probably won't kill a calf, but um, they do kill chickens and other small farm animals. They dig holes in fields, which will ruin the field and like mess up their equipment and stuff. Um, and they're like small coyotes. So you know they kill the waterfowl, the birds, all that stuff. For that reason, I'm putting them at D tier because I think that they're overrated. Next, a goat. Okay, goats are cool. My dad said that he once saw a goat at the junkyard drinking antifreeze, and he came back a couple weeks later and it was still alive. So, goats are just built different, okay? Goats can eat anything, they can live anywhere, uh, kinda. They're cool, they're funny, they do a lot of funny stuff, so they're S tier. Because goats are just built different. Geese. Next on our list is geese. Um, Geese are pretty cool. They're like ducks. They're hard to hunt, but they do more funny stuff, like attack like little kids and stuff at the park. For that, I'm gonna put them in S tier. Yeah. All right. Next on our list, grizzly bear. Grizzly bear, not as good as black bear, and I'll tell you why. They haven't really adapted to live with humans, but mostly because they don't need to. They're just off in the middle of nowhere, eating salmon and stuff. For that, I'm putting them at B tier. Harambe, the gorillas, is next on our list. What else can I say? Harambe was an icon, you know, until that tragedy, and I think it really sparked inspirational learning quest for gorillas. They're not like chimps. Chimps are, if a gorilla was like who can I think of? That's like a gorilla, like a friendly giant. Gorillas are like friendly giants, okay? And that can be mean when they're threatened. They're misunderstood, okay? Chimps are like psychopaths. They're like the silent lurker, just waiting for his moment, like a serial killer. Kind of crazy. Speaking of serial killers, we have hippos next. Yeah. Just because I don't want to get murdered, we're going to have to put hippos at S tier. They kill like 500 Africans every year because that's where they're prominent. I think they're in Colombia too now because of Pablo Escobar, but and they're just destroying Colombia, but yeah, hippos they murk a lot of people, and it's actually quite sad, but the only thing that's going to stop them is like a ton of lions or a ton of alligators. I mean crocodiles, because alligators don't live there, but hippos are dangerous, and I don't think they have any really predators except for like lions and stuff on the calves and people, but that's about it. For that, I'm gonna put hippos because they're like an apex predator. Next, we have horses. In case Miss Sims is watching this, horses are S tier. They're beautiful creatures. You can ride them. They can do tricks. They can jump. I know prize horse semen. Yes, semen can go for like millions or something, or not millions, but a lot of money, maybe millions. I don't know. I'm not a horse expert. Yeah, they're pretty cool. S tier, best tier. Oh yeah, I forgot to explain this. S tier is the best tier. It's like I don't know why, but it is best, and then it goes A, B, C, D, E, F. F is worst. S is best. Sorry if I didn't make that clear early in the video. Next on our list, we have koalas. I know what you're thinking, Chris. Koalas? Really? They're cute. They're beautiful creatures. Wrong. You don't know how angry this makes me. Koalas are the stupidest animal. And when I mean stupidest, I mean stupidest. That's probably not good English, but that's how angry it makes me. It makes me so angry. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me explain why I hate koalas. Okay, well, first of all, they have chlamydia. Second of all, koalas are quite dumb. Okay, and you're like, why are koalas dumb, Chris? Well, let me explain. Koalas eat mostly one thing, and that is eucalyptus. Eucalyptus makes the koalas sleepy, right? So they have to sleep a long time. But they only eat eucalyptus, right? So they have to eat so much eucalyptus, right, to stay awake, to reproduce and keep their population going. But the eucalyptus, the more they eat the eucalyptus, the sleepier they get. So then they have to eat more eucalyptus to keep their energy up. It's a vicious cycle, right? So they sleep like 20 hours a day or something dumb like that, and then they eat for the other 4 hours. I don't know how this stupid, stupid animal is even alive. Because honestly, they should have just eaten themselves into like a sleep coma by now. I don't understand. But they're alive, and everyone's like, save the koalas, and I think it's so dumb. I think they should just go extinct already because they're so stupid. Eat something other than eucalyptus, okay? And also, they attack people whenever somebody's like tries to touch them. You know, they're just like, yes, they're cute, but they're also ugly. Look at that dumb nose. I can't. I'm sorry. This isn't a koala rant. This is an animal tier list. And next on our list, we have lions. Lions are pretty dang cool. If you've ever seen National Geographic, you know all about the lions. For that, we're going to put them in B tier. They're just cool. They are. They've got a nice little thing going on. But poachers are killing them, and that sucks. Next on our list, we have jaguar, or leopard, or panther. They're probably different things, but they're all the same, essentially. They're just in different places. They're pretty cool, but I don't think they're as good as the lion or cheetah. I think they're just kind of like a in between. They climb trees good, I know that. For that, we're gonna put them in C tier, a nice little base tier. Yeah. Next on our list, we have lobster. The only good thing about lobster, the redeeming quality, is the taste. I know a lot of people like the taste of lobster. Personally, I've never had it, but I imagine it tastes something like crab. But even then, they run away. They use their big tail to swim away from predators and clip at them as they're swimming away. They don't face them like men, like crabs. So for that, we're gonna put them at D tier. Actually, we're gonna put them at C tier. Nice little base tier also, just because they taste good. Next on our list, we have giraffes. Giraffes are cool. They got super long. I mean, okay, if you ever look at a giraffe, really, like, look really hard at a giraffe, you know that they just look cool. For that, we're gonna put them in A tier because they look cool. They're like, if you take a deer and you give it a super long neck and a big body and skinny legs, that's a giraffe. And they're beautiful creatures. They're really strong. If you get kicked by a giraffe, you die basically. I think that happened in a zoo sometime. Next on our list, we have an S tier animal, the praying mantis. We're gonna say A tier because it's a bug, but it's so cool. It's got little clippers, and if you've ever seen Kung Fu Panda, you know that they are like cool. I mean, it's a praying mantis. What's there not to like other than it's a bug? Next on the list, we have lizards. I just have a basic lizard on the picture. Lizards are cool. There's a lot of different kinds. I'm gonna put them at B tier because what is there not to like about a lizard? Other than it's kind of weird. Next on our list, tortoise. Tortoise gets a B tier, or an A tier. I mean, I'm sorry. Tortoise gets an A tier because they live the longest. Like, I don't know of anything that lives longer. Okay. Whales might live pretty long, same length, but I'm not actually sure about that. Tortoises live forever, and they are. I imagine they're super easy to murk, and I imagine a bunch of animals eat them. It's probably why they're going extinct. But they're pretty cool. They're just like slow turtles with big shells. Next on our list, we got meerkat. And you're probably, what's a meerkat? Well, if you've ever seen this meme, you know that's a meerkat. They stand outside their burrows, looking like standing on their hind legs, looking around for predators. I saw it on National Geographic once. They're kind of like prairie dogs, but they look like they're longer. They're more agile, and they fight cobras. And they're pretty cool. So I'm gonna put them at A tier. Next on the list, we got baboons. Baboons is a solid C tier. Monkeys in general are C tier. They're just, they're like 2 steps below us. Chimps and gorillas are like right above most monkeys. Next on our list, it's kind of hard to see, but that's a moose compared to a SUV slash minivan. Moose are huge and they're really cool. They're like enormous deer almost. They're just beautiful creatures. I'm gonna say they're S tier. A buddy of my dad's, mine too, who put me through hunter safety. He does a hunter safety course. I don't know if he does anymore. He, his name's Art. I think he runs like a magazine thing. He plays basketball with my dad, and he actually shot a moose, and he cleaned the whole thing, and you know, by himself, and carried it like in Alaska, like to the boat and stuff. So he's kind of insane, but moose are pretty cool. I think they're beautiful, so that's why they're S tier. Next we have narwhal. Narwhal's instantly S tier also. And you're probably wondering, why is narwhal S tier? Well, basically, they have these long teeth that they fight with. All their males for dominance, I think, and to fight off like other creatures, and they're very cool. Narwhals are cool. It's just like a whale with a big long sword tooth. Kind of like I like to think of them as fairies of the sea. Maybe we should start that. Cows taste delicious. They're A tier. Up next we have orcas. I think orcas are kind of bullies. And honestly, SeaWorld was, this is going to be kind of controversial, but I don't really think SeaWorld was all that bad to them. They're just bullies. They're bullies. Orcas are bullies. They're bullies of the sea. They gang up on seals and sea lions and penguins, and they eat them. I don't think that's cool. I think if you're going to fight something, fight a one-on-one, Don't gang up on them. That's why they're in D tier. Alright. Next, we have ostrich. I know. Hang in there, guys. I know. Ostrich. Ostriches are large, flightless birds. They run pretty quick. And if you've ever watched Ridiculousness, Rob Dyrdek, that guy, he actually rode an ostrich. I think large, flightless birds are kind of cool. Although I don't really get the gist, but I think they're kind of C tier. They're mid. Otters. Instantly S tier. You're like wondering, what? Otters are like the same as beavers. Well, let's not go there, my friend. Otters are very cute. They gang up to like look out for predators. They swim really fast. They can run pretty quick. They can use tools to break open urchins and clams and stuff. Zebra mussels, and they're cute. They're just cute. Look at that guy. He's so cute. Next on our list, pandas. S tier. If you're wondering, Chris, why is panda S tier, but not something like koala or a regular bear? Well, pandas, for one. Pandas know kung fu, obviously. And if you ever look up a video of pandas falling out of trees, it's hilarious. They're so cute, and what's the word? Anyway, I can't think of it. Just like naive. That's the word. Thank you. Naive. They're so cute and naive, but they're also a bear. So it's like a nice mix. It's quite funny when they fall out of trees. I think they're okay. I hope they are. Next on the list, pigs. Pigs are pretty smart. They taste good. Solid B tier animal. Ooh, my arm is twitching. Um, Next on our list, we have the government spies themselves. Pigeons. A tier animal. They fly around a lot. I'm pretty sure they're government spies. That's why I'm putting them in A tier. Make sure none of them are outside my house right now. Anyway, A tier animal. I'm pretty sure they eat garbage and stuff too. So, you know, it is what it is. Next on our list, we have the penguin. Penguins are pretty cool. They live like where nobody else will live, which is kind of dumb. They live like in Antarctica, so we're gonna put them at B tier. They're solid. They're troopers. Next on our list, polar bears. Polar bears are like a step above grizzly bears, I think, because they live in Antarctica. But polar bears are so much scarier than grizzly bears. Let me tell you why. Polar bears are straight killers. Okay. Have you ever seen a polar bear after it's like killed something? It's got all that blood on it, just all over its face, down its sides and stuff. And it doesn't even care. It's like eating its kill, and just like, I don't know. It's scary. Polar bears are killers, but they're also kind of cute, and they like Diet Coke, Coca-Cola. I'm a Coca-Cola guy, so that's why polar bears are solid A tier. Porcupines, I'm gonna put porcupines at C tier because once my great uncle's dog he was out and about sniffing, and he got into a porcupine, and it quilled them all up. I think they're pretty self-sufficient because they'll mess you up, if you try to mess with them. But they're also pretty cute, and like some people have them as pets. So for that, I'm gonna put them at B tier actually. Next on our list, rabbits. Rabbits I'm gonna put at C tier. They reproduce really fast. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason they exist, because they get killed by like everything on this. Like cats eat them, wolves eat them, coyotes eat them, fox eat them, everything. I've eaten them. They're pretty good in stew. But they're really cute also. My neighbor once found a den of little rabbits that her dog sniffed up. So she took them in and took care of them, and then released them all when they were old enough to fend for themselves. So that's pretty cool. That's why I think rabbits are C tier. They do have kind of diseases and stuff though, so gross. But they're also cute. Next on our list is rhinoceros. And I think I'm going to put rhino at B tier. Only because they're a step up from C tier. And they're pretty cool. Just like lions, you know what they're about. They're big, thick animals. They're like a hippo, but they're less agile and they're more docile. Like hippos are murderers, and rhinoceros are like the cop that's chasing the murderer. Like they're not as good as the because obviously the murderer gets away, but the cop did his best. And they're pretty strong. So I'm gonna say rhinos are B tier. Next on our list we got sea lions. Sorry, not sea lions. Sea lions. Sea lions are pretty cool. I seen them in a couple memes, so I put them on the list. I know they're not as agile in the sea as seals and penguins, but they do have that aspect where they can run on land, and they'll actually go for penguins and stuff too. So they're pretty cool. I'm gonna put them at A tier because they're like if a lion or bear could swim really good. For that, I'm gonna put them at A tier. Next on our list, Seals. Seals. I don't have to put seals at C tier just because they kind of rely on like swimming, but then like they also get murked by a lot of stuff. Like they go on land, they're not fast, but they have to go on land to get away from orcas. And but then when they're on the land, they get murked by polar bears or people smacking them with clubs. Um, so for that, I'm gonna have to put them at C tier because they have a hard life, but they don't make it easy for themselves because they're so blubbery and probably filled with protein or something. Sharks are scary. Okay, I'm gonna have to put them at D tier, right? If I am swimming in the water and I look down and I don't see the bottom, I instantly think there's a shark, right? I'm getting out of the water as fast as I can because sharks are just they're spooky, and I have an irrational fear of deep water. And sharks live in deep water, so we're gonna put them at D tier. They're kind of going out, but they're like apex predators, so I don't think they'll go anywhere without a struggle. Sadly. But they are pretty cool. I like Shark Week. I just don't like deep water. But they live there, so D tier. Next on our list, we got sheep. Sheep are pretty cool. You shear them for your clothes, for your socks, long underwear or whatever. I don't know. Lamb tastes pretty good, like lamb chops and stuff. So, but they're pretty basic. We're gonna put them at B tier because they're nice and fluffy, and I could see myself laying down, like being locked out somewhere, or like homeless and going to my local sheep farmer, sneaking into his barn and sleeping with the sheep at night, resting my head on a nice sheep as like a pillow. So yeah, they're B tier, solid B tier animal. Next on our list, we have rattlesnake, or not rattlesnakes, just snakes in general. This is not a rattlesnake. This is a garter snake. Just kidding, it's a rattlesnake. But if you see them, don't go by them, or do. I'm not your dad or mom. That didn't make sense. Anyway, snakes are D tier, F tier. Snakes creep me out. They're weird. I'm gonna put them at D tier because I know some people like them, but they're just not for me. They're kind of gross, and I don't really understand how they work. It's just like what is their stomach and what isn't their stomach, Because in my mind, like the inside of a snake is nothing, but I know that's not true. And I know they lay eggs too, so snakes are weird. D tier animal. Next we have snapping turtles. Snapping turtles are definitely C tier animal. They bite people, but they're quite funny, so But actually, fun fact is, snapping turtles developed the snapper because they can't retract their head in all the way because of their long neck, which they use to like thrust their head out and snap people or things. And they also have funny tongues, like they in the water when they catch fish or like frogs and stuff. They open their mouth like and their tongue is like bait. It looks like a little worm, and they use that to bait their little fish in to come bite it. And when the fish does get close enough, the turtle snaps on them and catches them and eats them. Pretty cool animal. I'm gonna put them at B tier actually because talking about them made me realize they're all right. Tigers. Tigers are another thing of wackiness. Tigers are pretty scary. They're like lions, but they live in the jungle and they got pretty stripes. This one is running after a motorcycle with people on it. Almost catches him, but doesn't quite. And if I was on the motorcycle that was being chased by a tiger, I don't think I'd stop until I got to like the nearest like army base or somewhere like where I know the tiger is not going to be able to get me. Like I don't think I'd not go like 100 miles an hour home because they're just frightening. A tier animal. We'll put my B tier. Next we have raccoon. Raccoons are S tier. They eat trash. They're funny. Trash panda. Solid A tier animal. Turkeys. C tier. You're probably wondering, Chris, turkey tastes so good at Thanksgiving. Yeah, it tastes alright. But I think you have to cook it properly, and, I'm not good at cooking turkey. Every time I cook it, it comes out okay. I've had really good turkey, though, before. I think the preparation is where I go wrong. But I think they're big, fat bowling balls of meat in the sky that can't really fly, but they're alright. I'm gonna put them at C. Not much to say about them. Walrus. Walrus is S tier instantly. They got big old tusks to fight. Their thick blubber protects them from the cold, and they herd together. And fun fact, if a dominant walrus, or if there are two walruses that are fighting for dominance, right? And the one walrus loses, then that walrus will sometimes commit, the loser walrus will sometimes commit suicide since he's no longer the dominant walrus. Because they get sad and stuff. And that's what, I think this walrus is just falling off a cliff or something. But anyway, that's a fun fact about walruses. They're S tier. They're pretty awesome. Next we have whales. I'm gonna say whales are a little overrated. They're pretty humongous. So for that we're gonna put them at C tier. Just because they're huge. But I think it'd be cool if they were more aggressive towards people, like ate people. Then they'd be like Megalodon, like real life. But they're also a mammal, so that's pretty cool. For that, I'm going to say they're a solid baseline C tier animal. Next on our list, I might get a lot of hate about this, but wolves, D tier. I know dogs developed from wolves, and they, we wouldn't have dogs without wolves, but now everyone's like, save the wolves, save the wolves. And I guess I'll put them in C tier for that, because, we wouldn't have the amazing thing we have today, dogs, if we didn't have wolves, but I think wolves they're overrated. For that, I'm going to put them in C tier. D tier, actually. I think I'm going to put them in D tier. Last but not least on our list, at the end of the alphabet, there's Z. And you know what starts with Z? Zebra. So that's why we have them last, but not least. Zebra. Zebras are freaky. Okay. And they're actually, they're pretty, mean. Okay. I didn't know this, but there's a guy on TikTok who is like researches animals and talks about them on TikTok. And he was saying that zebras are really mean. They're like rapey, I guess. And they will like kill the young if it's not theirs. So like if another zebra mates with another zebra and produces offspring, and then another zebra comes in and it's not his, he'll try to kill it. And sometimes he'll try to kill his own kids so that he can mate faster. Stuff like that. So zebras are mean. They're freaky. They're horses without stripes. They're donkeys that can kick really hard. In my eyes, they're just cool looking food. They're entertaining food I'll say. You know, you ever have like a cool looking ice cream that's like can't I think of a cool looking ice cream. Cool looking food. It's just cool looking food for lions and stuff. And they're cool to hunt. Um so zebras are solid. Ooh, zebras are solid D tier. Um yeah. That's the end of my list, guys. So let me know what you guys think um or don't. Doesn't matter to me. But this is my list. If you don't agree, that's okay. Not everybody has the same opinion. It's just what I'm thinking. Uh, yeah. If you think that koalas are not F tier, you are wrong. I hate koalas with a burning passion for some reason. Just it gets me so fired up because they're stupid. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching.